Thank you, Dr. Jayashree, for a wonderful presentation. At the onset, I have to thank Dr. Nilanjan for giving me this opportunity to present with these eminent surgeons. Today, I will be speaking on workup before surgery. So, what is our aim? To confirm the diagnosis, to evaluate the sex status, to exclude any nasal pathology, to choose the surgical procedure, and finally, the goal is of doing all these things is to minimize the complications and increase the success rate. So before going into detail, we have to first understand few of the terms, that is the pseudoepiphora or hyperlacrimation, and difference between it to epiphora. True epiphora refers to the watering due to obstruction in the lacrimal outflow pathway, and hyperlacrimation or pseudoepiphora refers to the excessive watering due to corneal foreign body abrasion or dry eye diseases. So most important is the case selection. Case selection is the most important step in which entire surgical outcome and the success depends. A slight oversight with the case selection can lead to devastating propositions for the operating surgeon and also to the patient. For example, if we miss bleeding disorder, malignancy, nasal pathology, as simple as common canalicular block diagnosed on table at the time of surgery. So these are the different presentations. The first picture gives us a dacryocyst in an infant. Second is picture gives the acute dacryocystitis, and third is a chronic dacryocystitis with a mucocele. Fourth is there is a fistula, and fifth picture is a spontaneous rupture of an abscess with scarring. So these are the different presentation. History taking is most important. A detailed history will provide a clue to the appropriate diagnosing most cases of watering. Elaborate history is crucial for distinguishing NLDO from other causes of tearing like corneal abrasions, dye, or corneal foreign body. History associated with certain craniofacial syndromes like Down, Fletcher, Collins, etc., which are also associated with NLDO of nasal lacrimal duct obstruction. So the time of onset, laterality, type of discharge, we have to elicit. Epiphora due to complete nasolacrimal duct obstruction is usually continuous and associated with intermittent mucoid or purulent discharge. Watery discharge most commonly is due to allergic conjunctivitis. A rapidly growing mass of bleeding may be due to a granulomatous process of malignancy. And the epiphora due to NLDO is normally unilateral, whereas in allergic conjunctivitis and other causes it is bilateral. So we have to also take the history of prior intranasal surgeries, history of other medications used in the past like anti-glaucoma, antiviral, decongestant, which are associated with punctal stenosis, and it is other risk factors like history of any facial or nasal trauma, sinus diseases, environmental allergies, etc. Then we'll go into the clinical examination. The aim of our clinical examination is to first whether a normal functioning pump is there or not, properly positioned, and patent puncta and a patent canalicular system. So in clinical examination, then we have to go for local inspection and the slit lamp examination. We have to examine about the eyelid should be examined for malposition or evidence of meibomian gland dysfunction. The punctum is inspected for size, location, whether it is stenosed, everted, or apposed. We have to examine for the presence, absence of puncta, and other causes of epiphora like dry eye disease, evaporative, or reflex tearing must be examined. Then the cornea should be examined for punctate epithelial staining, tear film quality, tear film breakup time, etc. Any swelling above the medial canthal tendon is atypical and may represent a malignancy of the sac and the mucosa and other pathology. This should be investigated with imaging prior to proceeding for DCR surgery. Now, next, most important, one of the important examination is the Roplus test. That is a diagnostic test. A positive regurgitation test is confirmatory test for chronic dacryocystitis NLDO, and no further diagnostic testing is usually necessary in these cases. So this is the interpretation of Roplus. If we get a clear mucoid and mucopollulant regurgitation and pressure over the sac area, this is NLDO. If it is positive with blood thins, then we have to rule out dacrylite or lacrimal sac tumor. If there is no regurgitation, then it may be encysted mucocele. If it is no regurgitation but it empties into the nose, then it can be due to atonic sac or internal fistula. Then after Roplus, another important, which is clinching for before going to DCR surgery, is the syringing. So we can do from the upper punctum or lower punctum using 24 gauge cannula in a 2 ml syringe. So what are the interpretation? Regurgitation of clear fluid from the upper punctum indicates an obstruction to common canicular lacrimal sac or NLD. Mucoid or mucopollulant discharge is the more clinching, and it directs into NLDO. Regurgitation through the same punctum, individual canalicular block, or regurgitation of the mucoid mucopollulant fluid discharge through the lower punctum while irrigating through the lower punctum, and also associated with heart stop, NLD associated with upper canalicular block. If it is a partially patent with regurgitation, then partial NLDO. This syringing should be clubbed with a diagnostic probing. So probing is indicative irrigation reveals an obstruction in the lacrimal outflow system at the time of syringing and lacrimal irrigation. So we get the interpretation as a hard stop and soft stop. Hard stop and indicates that the probe has gone beyond the common canalicula into the lumen of the sac to touch the medial wall of the sac and the underlying bone. Presence of a hard stop on probing of the patient whose irrigation finding reveals clear fluid regurgitation from the opposite punctum rules out the diagnosis of common canalicular block and confirm the diagnosis of NLD. So in case of soft stop, the probe stops at the site of blockage near the canaliculus and it presses the lateral wall of the sac, giving a spongy feeling. That's why the name soft stop. So it is found in a common canalicular block. Then important investigation is the endoscopic nasal examination can be done by the ophthalmologist at the OPD or can be sent by ENT surgeon. So it is also important to rule out common nasal conditions. Anterior rhinoscopy and nasal speculum might not able to provide complete information. So we have to do endoscopic examination to rule out hypertrophic inferior turbinate, the obstructive nasal polyps, nasal spurs, also deviated nasal septum, or any anatomical abnormality which might be having a bearing on the surgical decision making, other tumors and granulomatous infection, etc. Then we have to do dye test, fluorescent dye disappearance test. It is a physiological test for checking the function of the lacrimal outflow system. It is a non-invasive test, but this test cannot distinguish anatomical obstruction in the drainage pathway from the lacrimal failure, nor can it localize the site of blockage. And then we will go to the imaging. Imaging per se is not that important in case of DCR surgery, other than rule out some pathologies. Evaluation of lacrimal system rarely is indicated. So, but still, if we have to do, then we can do DCG, dacryocytography. It is anatomical investigation and it is indicated in multiple failed surgeries, post-traumatic epiphora or suspicious lacrimal sac tumor. Then we do nuclear imaging also with dacryocytography. The main use is evaluation and confirmation of the lacrimal pump dysfunction. So what is important practically is that the preoperative planning of DCR strategy will be unique compared with the other invasive operations, that it does not routinely require imaging technique. So if we require, then we can do CT scan. It is an imaging modality of choice for most patients with nasolacrimal obstruction because we can get the evaluation of the bony anatomy surrounding the lacrimal outflow system. CT is very useful in diagnostic modality and assessing the lacrimal anatomy in relation to surrounding bones in facial trauma or suspected malignancies. Other CT findings like septal deviation, turbinate malposition, sinusitis, etc. Can be found. Other investigation in imaging is the MRI together with MRI dacryocytography. Imaging technique that is most important is a digital X-ray of the PNS epilateral, simplest imaging technique which can give us clinching evidence regarding the nasal pathology. Other tests like Skarmer test, tear film breakup time, Rose Bengal staining, these are the tests done to rule out evaporative or dry eye diseases. So finally, systemic evaluation like hemoglobin level, blood pressure measurement, blood clotting profile, glycemic status, viral markers, and now it is most important is the RT-PCR for COVID-19 and other than additional general anesthesia investigation when required. So in conclusion, watery eye is a common complaint and can be due to hypersecretion or due to obstruction of the lacrimal outflow pathway. The goal of evaluation of a patient with epiphora is to differentiate between to find out the cause and site of obstruction in case of lacrimal outflow pathway problems. The surgical approach for management of the epiphora depends on the cause, type, and the level of anatomical obstruction. Thank you very much. And I'll go to the next speaker.